I don't think there's a better sound than that. Just hearing the breeze in the trees and the birds singing. It's so nice. And with it getting into spring as well, there's more and more birds. Getting outside at this time of year is one of my favourite things to do. I love it. Trying to make a bit more of the weather while it's like this as well, because it's been so grim over the winter. It's not stopped raining for like months on end, and now it's dried up and the sun's come out. I'm trying to just get outside a little bit more and get away from what's going on in the world, because there's a lot of shit going on in the world at the moment. It's important to just keep doing the things you want to do. Me and Holly did that the other night as well. We went out and took some photos just for the sake of taking photos. No particular reason. I just think it's important to keep doing that at the moment. As difficult as it is, just keep doing what's important to you. Now, the other reason I wanted to come out and get lost in a forest and make a video a little bit different to what I've made very recently is to... This is very muddy here. Didn't realise this was like this. But the other reason I wanted to come and make a video like this is... Oh my god, I'm going to have to move. I'm really going to have to move. I can't do it here. Oh god, listen at that. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. I'll go somewhere else. Anyway, as I was saying, the other reason I wanted to come out and get lost in a forest is to try making a video in a different way to what I've made very recently, because of everything that's been going on in the world, I've found myself completely distracted and not really known what to make or how to make it, and I've kind of got a little bit stale with it. I've not challenged myself, so I thought what I would do is come out, get lost in this forest and make a video like this using just one lens, and that lens is the Tamron 28 to 200mm f2.8 to f5.6. Probably one of my favourite lenses. Genuinely love it. It's so good. Now, this is probably my favourite reason that I like this lens, and that is the amount of range you have with it. So right now I am as wide as it goes. I am at 28mm, and I can go all the way into 200mm, and it looks like this. That's where I was doing the shot before, if it focuses. There we go. That's where I was doing the shot before of me in between the trees. And then I can just change the field of view. The camera is in exactly the same place, but I get a completely different angle, and that just gives you so many more possibilities when it comes to making videos. It makes it so much more fun. The only lens you need to take out is this lens. You can do what you want with it. I love it. It's so good. I don't know where I am. Literally not got a clue. I'm going to keep walking. Just going to keep walking. See where we end up. Now, where I wouldn't recommend this lens is if you are doing something like vlogging. So for example, because it is only 28mm at its widest, if you are holding the camera out with your arm, you're not going to be able to have enough field of view to be able to get a decent picture of you and everything in the background that you want to. Where it is perfect is doing stuff like this, using a tripod, because you can set it down, get your shot framed exactly as you want it, record your shot, move it on to the next one, done. I love it. And because you can go all the way into 200mm, as we just mentioned, you can get so many more different angles. It's perfect. And the other great thing about this lens as well is because you have so much focal range, if you are using something like a wireless microphone, like I am right now, I'm using the Rode Wireless Go, you can set your camera on your tripod, wander off wherever you want to, and just carry on talking and just have fun in a different way to what you might usually do while you're making your videos. I've never done this before. I'm going to do it a lot more. Oh, there's a branch there. I'm going to do it a lot more now because it's good fun. But I'm out of breath. I'm very much out of breath. But the only downside is I do need to come back for my camera. I don't know if you can see me anymore, but I need to come back for my camera because I've finished that shot. This is the side of YouTube videos that no one sees. Just while we're still here and before I head back home and finish off this video there, I just want to talk about one downside to this lens. And I say downside like it's a really bad thing. It's not a bad thing because there are workarounds. There always is with anything. But this lens is variable. So it starts off with an aperture of f2.8 at 28mm, and as you zoom in all the way to 200mm, it turns to an f5.6. So the aperture changes as you change your focal length. That's the only downside. I'll show you what I mean by that now. So we are currently at f2.8 at 28mm, and as I zoom in, this is 35mm. We are already at f3.2, 50mm, f3.5, 100mm, f4.5, and if we get all the way to 200, it's f5.6. Now that's not a very good example because it's just a picture of a tree, but you can see the image slowly getting darker as you zoom in. Now that's not a bad thing for video because usually before you take your clips you're going to be making sure all your settings are set correct, but if you forget, it can be a bit of an issue. So just remember to change your settings as you change your focal length. Simple. Right, well, I am going to head home because it's getting very windy and a little bit chilly. So I'm going to head home and finish this video at home. See you there. I was going to put a drone shot in, but it's too windy to get the drone up, unfortunately. So see you at home. So the Tamron 28 to 200mm, as I mentioned in the forest, is one of my favourite lenses that I own. Now I'm not using it, I have it here. I've switched over to the Tamron 17 to 28 just to film this, so I can show you what the Tamron 28 to 200 looks like. And you can see that it's actually a really good size for a lens with this amount of range. If for example you look at a 70 to 200mm lens, that maybe has an aperture fixed at maybe 2.8 all the way throughout its focal range, they can be really big. The Canon one is huge, for example, and if you're going to stick that in your camera bag, it weighs a ton as well, so that is a big piece of gear to be carrying around. This is really lightweight, it feels really well built. It is made of plastic, but it feels a really good quality plastic, and it's just a really nice size to carry around with you everywhere you go. You can almost stick this in your jacket pocket if you just quickly want to change over to another lens, but it's barely going to take up any room in your camera bag. It's got a nice little lock switch on it as well, so you can't extend it while the switch is in the lock position, just to help make carrying it around a little bit easier. And if you've got it stuck on your camera and you're carrying it around, it's not accidentally gonna extend like that. But you can see that even when it is extended, it's actually not that big. It's just a really nice size to use. I love this lens. I should use it far more than I do, and I don't really see the variable aperture being a problem because this lens costs £799. If you were to have this lens with a fixed aperture all the way through, say an f2.8, it is going to cost an absolute fortune. This is an absolute steal for 799 quid. You can do so much with it. You've got pretty much the whole focal range that you might want to use, apart from if you want something a little bit wider. That's why I own the Tamron 70 to 28mm, so I can do things like vlogging and sit nice and close to the camera like I am doing right now. But this, you cannot go wrong with this. I think it is absolutely brilliant, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who owns a Sony camera. I really would. If you were paying big bucks, like thousands for your lens, yes, then you wouldn't really want a variable aperture. You'd want to be able to stick a nice f2.8 all the way throughout the focal range. This, with the price you're paying, it doesn't matter that it is variable, because when you are shooting video, you're gonna frame your shot as you want to with the correct focal range for your shot. You're then gonna adjust your settings to get everything the way you want it to be. Yes, you are going to lose a little bit of light or gain a little bit of light, but that's nothing that you can't change with your ISOs and ND filters. You can still get a really gorgeous depth of field with an f10, for example, when you are all the way in at 200mm, because the image is so compressed at that focal range. You don't need to worry about not having an f2.8 at 200mm. It's really not an issue. I love this lens. I own 3 Tamron lenses. I own the 17-28 f2.8 and I also own the Tamron 28-75 f2.8. Well, technically Holly owns that, not me. But between us we have those 3 Tamron lenses and they are so good. I would highly recommend Tamron lenses. I'm thinking of making a video about all 3 of these lenses and why I would suggest going with Tamron if you own a Sony camera body. So if that is a video you would like to see, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I think that's it for this video. As I mentioned at the start of the video, don't forget to keep doing the things that are important to you and just be nice to each other, because there is a lot of horrible crap going on in the world at the moment. So yeah, keep doing the things that are important to you. I'm going to keep making these videos. I've got some new gear that I want to make videos about that I've very kindly been sent from a company called Sandmark. I'm excited about this. This is iPhone anamorphic lens, something I've not tried out before, so I'm looking forward to trying that. So yeah, let me know if you want to see a video about Tamron lenses, and subscribe so you don't miss out any anamorphic lens footage videos, whatever you want to call it. That's it for this video. See you in the next one. Right, well, I am going to head home and I shall finish this video. Jesus! The amount of times I've tripped up today making this bloody video. Right, well, I am going to head home because it's getting very windy and I'm a little bit